Hey, what's going on, guys? Pika's out here in Singapore. It's 9 something, and I'm debating whether or not to take a nap before I get on live with August at 2 a.m. But yeah, suffice it to say that I have had a pretty wonderful day. It's been amazing. I've enjoyed every minute of it because I got to go to the beach today. I had a marvelous conversation this morning with August. It was really nice catching up with her. Hey, Avina, and had a couple of conversations with old friends of mine. Some of them from childhood, some of them from work years ago back in the States, and it's been nice. A really chill day. I needed the ocean and the sand today. I really did, but it was another way of me meditating and kind of getting into that altered state where I just allow things to happen. So many of us, when we're trying to build something, we try to control as many factors as possible because we want it to go a specific way. We, in our minds, have this idea of how things happen, how things are supposed to come together. The universe obviously has a different way of doing things, and while we may not always understand the connections that it makes, obviously certain things have to fall in place for us to move forward the best way possible. But it got me thinking, like laying in the sun for a little while, playing in the water for a little while. It got me thinking about where I am today versus where I was way back when I started. When I first got my business license, it was almost 4 years ago now, and I didn't do anything. I didn't do a single thing with it for a whole year. And honestly, when I first got the license, I actually registered it as RR Fam, and back then it stood for Rajaratnam Rasaya Family. I didn't know what else to call it. I wasn't sure how I was trying to make it sound cool, I guess. It didn't quite fit. But eventually I was like, no, you know what? If I look at my life and where I'm signed up for, Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, I've got it signed under the same thing. It's all Rasath1 everywhere I am. So I decided, this feels a little bit better. It fits a little more. It's who I've been. It's how I identify myself for a very long time now. And it has a backstory, right? So obviously, I think I've mentioned this a couple times in previous episodes, but the nickname Rasati was handed down from my aunt, Rajamami, Rajalakshmi Ovalupille, who is my dad's oldest sister. And she was Rasati first, and she told me she wanted me to be Rasati next. And I felt really good about that. Rasati in our family means sweetheart, right? So I figured, I guess I am kind of like a sweetheart in some regards. I'm kind of a rowdy Rasati, but that's cool too. I feel good about that because there is this huge part of me that is, nurturing and want to take care of everybody, want to shelter everybody, protect everybody, make sure that you have the best of all opportunities so you can thrive in life. But there's also a part of me that, I've had to go through some things. I've had to toughen up my outside, my exterior a little bit so I can weather the storm whenever it pops up, and it's been quite the wild ride. So yes, that's where Rasati comes from. That's who I am. That's the persona. Basically that's the brand. Those are the values that I embody. But more than that, what I started 4 years ago, I had no idea the kind of person it was going to take to be able to bring this thing to life. It's almost like Tyler Perry when he was sleeping in his car. It's almost like oh gosh, so many great stories. Regina King when she first came out to LA to try and become, an actress. Everyone who's ever struggled to become something, I think I have something in common with them. Not to say that I'm going to be something like amazing like they are. Maybe, maybe not. But the point is, I chose something that was so beyond who I was 4 years ago that I've had to really stretch and grow to kind of fit into the person I'm supposed to be in order for all of this to happen. It's almost like when you're poor, right? The first thing your parents go out and do is when they buy clothes, they buy them a couple sizes too big for you so that they will fit for a while. You get to grow into them, basically. And that's almost what I did with this business without even meaning to. I chose something so far out of reach, so unimaginable that I didn't even think I could make money at it in the beginning. I wasn't sure what it was going to look like. I had a business license and I don't even know what I was going to do with it. I don't know what I had in mind back then. I don't know if I could go back and tell you. But as the idea evolved, as I turned it over and over in my head, I found that I've had to stretch and grow. I've had to get rid of a lot of old beliefs. I've had to adopt new ways of doing things because the old ways just did not work. I had to face some really ugly truths about myself, like I'm not a very good employee as far as stick-to-itiveness. I'm good at getting into a business and actually making it better than it was before, but I'm not good at how I take criticism from people who really don't want to see me succeed because I'm changing everything and they're not ready for those changes. So those kinds of things I had to really face about myself, and it's been a tough road. Sometimes I fall off the wagon and sometimes I'm really good at what I do, but all in all, I wake up every morning and I face the day. I show up every day. In some way, shape, or form, I touch someone's life. I speak to people. I try to push myself out of my comfort zone as much as possible. And it's funny because tonight, after I finished the live session, the live session we just did, right? Um, I'm referencing you because you're listening at the moment, but the live Instagram class that we very quickly did, it was kind of off the cuff. It was kind of impromptu. It wasn't as structured as it could have been, but it reminded me of something I've forgotten. The people who did reach out to me after the live session, it made me feel really good. I felt very good about the fact that they were able to catch the live session. They felt like they got something good out of it. But it also reminded me that I did this 2 years ago. I went live once a week, every week on Periscope to teach things. And back then, I taught things that I researched very quickly before I went live. Yeah. Back then it was because somebody asked me to teach and they kind of gave me a guideline of what they wanted me to teach, and I wasn't ready to teach those things yet. So I had to find things that I thought were neat and that could be useful, like the 5 tips to do this, this, and this. And it was difficult for me, but I did it back then. And it got to a point where when I was consistent, I knew people were coming to find me. I also knew that back then when I posted something, say, hey, catch me live on this date at this time, people planned for that. And that's something I'd forgotten. It was beautiful to be able to see and remember that, you know what? I have the skill set that I need. I just need to grow into the person that does these things automatically, that takes all the skills that you've accumulated over the past couple of years and employs them on a daily basis. Not when I see fit, not when it suits me, not when I feel good all of a sudden, but all the time. Because this is a business, this is my livelihood, this is my moneymaker. And if I don't show up every day to quote unquote open the shutters and open for business and reach out to people and tell them that I'm here, it's not going to happen. Overnight successes, overnight celebrities, they're not actually overnight celebrities. You knew that. They've been doing the work for years and years and years. And then it takes that 1 or 2 people that really tells the world, hey, I benefited from this person. I would recommend them. Please get in touch with them if you need any of these kinds of help. And then suddenly, one person turns into 10 people, turns into 20 people that refer and reach back and let those people know that this business exists before suddenly all of a sudden you look at it and be like, oh yeah, overnight celebrity. They weren't there yesterday, but they're there today. Look at that. Whereas they've been there for 30 years, every day, without fail. So it's been interesting. It's been really, looking back, it's been very eye-opening. This month has been very difficult for me because I feel like I'm finally pushing through something that I've been hitting my head against a lot. And I know, Avina, you'll recognize this and identify with it a little bit because you've been talking about glass ceilings lately. For those of you who have ever considered a flea, the fact that the flea is able to jump several hundred times its height is freaking amazing. But if you were to catch a flea in a jar and keep it there, obviously with air so it doesn't die right away, but eventually it will continue to try and jump out of the jar, and it will continue hitting its head on the lid. And if after, let's say, a week, you let the flea out, it will no longer jump 100 times its height. It will jump to the height of the lid or just below where the lid was, so it doesn't hit its head anymore. And it will go on forever thinking that that is all they're allowed to jump anymore. It's a lot like us. We open our eyes as newborns and we have this limitless capacity as children. And little by little, we're indoctrinated with the idea that you can and can't do this. These are the rules for how you live in this world. This is the only way that things happen. This is the way things are, and you need to abide by them. You are so controlled and molded by our school systems for the culture that you live in, so that you don't move past where everyone else is supposed to be. It's almost like the flea and the jar that you're inside. But once you start learning that you are allowed to question, and it's better for you if you do question, and if you research a little bit and look past what everyone else is doing, that there is so much possibility, that you were meant for so much more. And you train yourself to jump past that lid over and over again. I have been growing into the person that I need to be to run this business. I had to let go of my corporate job. I had to put aside the fact that I would get a replaceable income because all I was doing was spending it until the next check came in anyway, and that was over $4,000 a month. Now looking at it, I'm thinking, then damn, how did I waste so much money? Because I've been able to pare everything down, bills, expenses, fun things I used to spend money on, down to the bare minimum. I make everything that I possibly can as far as food is concerned. And I can limit my expenditures for the month to less than $500. Now look at this for a moment, right? If I still had that expendable income of $4,000 a month, if I only needed to spend $500, shoot, I could pay off credit card bills, I could save tons of money, I could have traveled a lot. But that's not what I did. I was trained to believe that every month I need to go back to work to collect a paycheck, to pay for bills, to live like everyone else is living, eat outside all day long, buy things that I know don't really need, that's going to just take up space in my house anyway, and just continue like that. That's supposed to be the height of life. I was listening to something today where it said, sometimes you have people that are very, very wealthy and do very well in their career, but then their finances lack. For example, Mike Tyson made several $1,000,000. Okay, not several, hundreds of millions of dollars in his lifetime. But if you look at him right now, where is he? He's broke because he wasn't that savvy with when it comes to money. And then on the flip side, you have people out there who are janitors who work day in and day out like dogs, and they live a very brilliant lifestyle now because they made sure they squirreled away a lot of money, at least half their paycheck every time. They learned to live on less, and now they have plenty to go on, and that money that they've saved up will last them a good long time because they already have the practice of not spending that much. So you have both sides of the spectrum there. But in order for me to know what I need to do and what's possible and how I could maybe avoid some of these stupid potholes along the way, is to read all that I can, to absorb all that I can, speak to as many people as possible, so that when the time comes, I can employ those same skill sets and be the person I know I can. I'm not here to start a business like everybody else starts a business and then, do really well for like, I don't know, a season or two and then disappear off the planet. That's not me. Me, to be honest, I want to be a household name like Martha Stewart. No, not the jail part. I know that's the first thing that jumped into your head. Martha Stewart, she was so daggone talented. She could make crafts, she could make clothes, she could make art, she could make food. She had her own brand of, stencils and paints and all kinds of stuff. She's written books. I want to be a household name like Oprah. No, I don't want to own a channel. But I do want to create content. I do want to make vlogs and speak to you about the experiences that I've had and bring to you more and more people that I've spoken to that I think are phenomenal and deserve recognition for the work that they're doing. I want to be like Will Smith. I want to be a household name like Will Smith because maybe I'm capable of comedy, maybe I'm not sure. But the point is, I want to try so many new things. I want to live my life. And I want to show you that I'm living my life. I want you to have a front row seat to my life so you can see what I'm capable of, what is possible for you, because I'm not any more special than you are. I have nothing more brilliant than you do. Your kind of genius and my kind of genius, they're different, but they're still genius. And if I, an ordinary mom, living by herself, raising her kid by herself, can find ways to bring extraordinary into my life, well, then you have no excuse, do you? If I'm showing you how I do it, you have no excuse. I'm growing into the person I need to be, and it's pushing me in all directions of my life. And I realized when I elevate one, it automatically lifts another. And that lifts another. It's like a domino effect. It's a beautiful, beautiful process. And I don't know where I'm going to land or if I'm going to land. I might just keep floating off into the ether. But I know I can't stop. What I started several years ago, I can't stop. It's too exciting. I get up excited. I can't wait. I fill my days with reading to my daughter, teaching her math. We explore the idea of actually making clothes. I haven't sat down to my sewing machine yet. I haven't pulled it out yet, but I have ideas. I have things I want to accomplish. And this job, this business I've created, I didn't know it was going to create all these opportunities, but guess what? Here they are. And I am not about to pass them by. Sometimes you set a goal so big, it's like your eyes are bigger than your stomach, right? So big, you're like, wow, it's going to be fabulous. And then when you start putting brick by brick, little by little, suddenly you look up and you realize, okay, I've got the whole foundation now. And you keep laying bricks little by little, and suddenly you have the structure up, the framing is up, and you keep laying bricks little by little, and suddenly the walls are up and you need windows next, and you need tiles and you need furniture, and pretty soon that castle in the sun that you've been looking to build, it's there, it's ready. But the person you had to become to do all those things, you had to learn about the foundation, you had to learn about laying pipe, you had to learn about electricity and electrical wiring, you had to learn about framing and windows and tiling and grouting and all these beautiful little things, because obviously you didn't know the first thing about it when you first started. That's the beauty of entrepreneurship. This is the university of adulting. Trust me. When you start a project that takes up your entire world, you have to develop skills in every area of life. Because you can't afford to be stupid about anything. You can't give your baby to just anybody. You need to know exactly what to tell them in order for them to know that you're not messing around. You know you could do it yourself, but you need the help. So you expect them to come with their A game too. I love my life. And I'm not going to lie, there are moments where I worry, like, can I really do this? Can I really get this sorted out where this actually makes money? Can I make it? Did I bite off more than I can chew? Of course I did. I didn't realize it at the time, but guess what? I am evolving. I have to grow into this shirt I bought that was way too big. That's the only way this becomes mine, where it fits so snugly. I set the standard for me, no one else. The way I speak to you guys, the way I rile you up, the way I calm you down, all of that, that's me. And yeah, along the way, there will be people who want to be like me, people who will copy, people who will take my words and use them as their own. And they can try and do that, but guess what? Every day I come out with new material. Every day I'm saying the same thing. Every day I have new experiences that I want to share with you, new stories that will help deliver the point home. You can't replicate me. I'm not limited edition. This is all there is. It's just me. You want this feeling I have to share? You need to come to me. You want that peace I keep telling you, everybody, that is possible? You need to come to me. I know that. You know that. It's a matter of how bad you want it now. So while I grow into this titan of a woman to fill out the sails of this dream boat that I've concocted all those years ago, you know there's no one else out there like me. I'm proud to say there's no one else out there like me. And one day my daughter will be proud too. Don't be afraid to grow into your dreams, you guys. Make them big, make them powerful, make them scary. And then grow into the person you need to be to deliver that. I love you guys. I'll talk to you again soon. Good night.